Chris Brown joining us on the Western Hotline ahead of, well, I should say after, the Bills come from behind win to beat the New England Patriots, a 35-31 score. Chris, good morning. Is anybody that surprised? Are you all that surprised from 21-0 to where we are right now?
I mean, a little bit. But I did say at halftime, the Bills have been a second-half team all season long. And some of the first halves this season have been downright ugly, and that one was ugly. There's no other way to shape it or frame it. But I knew that the Bills led the league in second-half point difference, plus 95. And they did it last week against the Bengals. They did it again this week against the Patriots. And when you look up, they're plus 21 in the second half. And, I mean, they have the ability to come back on teams that think the game is over. And, you got Stephon Diggs and Mac Hollins jaw-jacking people and bouncing around on the sidelines. And there was a little extracurricular activity at the end of the half going into the locker room between some Bills linemen and some Patriots players. And some of the players in the locker room after the game said, yeah, we heard it. We heard it. And I'm just going to say it. Rudy Tomjanovich, the old Houston Rockets head coach, used to say, never underestimate the heart of a champion. And I know the Bills are only division champs, but we knew what was on the line yesterday. Never underestimate the heart of a champion. They challenged them, and they paid for it.
What do you think, because this is another time we've seen it, Chris. We've seen it a lot this season. Best explains their improvement from the first to the second half, especially on defense, because the defense seems like is doing it even more than the offense is, that they get off to a slow start and then the second half. I mean, I counted, Chris, that other than the 65-yard run from Travion Henderson, it was 17 plays and 15 yards for New England's offense. Like, they've shut teams down like that a lot.
Yeah. Patriots had 3 first downs in the second half. So I think what happens is they go into a game with a game plan defensively, and obviously every team's going to have some wrinkles that you're not prepared for. And this was a team with an offensive staff that's coming off a bye week, had an extra week of time to throw some new wrinkles into the game plan. And, yeah, they caught the Bills flat-footed, had them crossed up on a lot of stuff in the first half. But I think this coaching staff, on both sides of the ball for the most part, but particularly on defense, as soon as they know what it is that you are doing and how you are hurting them, they come up with corrections that completely neutralize what you're doing, and they gain the upper hand over the final 2 quarters. And with the capabilities of this quarterback and this offense, all they need to do is get 3 or 4 stops, and you can climb back into a game rather quickly, and we've seen it time and time and time again.
Chris Brown on the Western Hotline. What is it that you think they saw New England doing that they thought they could stop? Like, just as simple as, we think we can cover these receivers and, find our pass rush eventually. They wanted to cage Drake May in. And to me, that was the biggest difference between the first and second half, Chris, was like May did not seem as eager to run, or maybe didn't have the space to run, but that's what stopped in the second half.
Yeah, I think it was a more disciplined pass rush in the second half. They kind of took an approach to May that they have taken to Lamar Jackson in previous matchups with the Ravens. And so the escape lanes weren't there for him to not only take off and run, but to extend plays. They constricted the pocket and did not recklessly try to get to the quarterback. And that put him in moments of indecision. And there have not been many moments for Drake May this season where he has been unsure of what he's looking at and unsure of where to go with the football. And that was as indecisive as I have seen Drake May all season long because of it.
Was there a moment, Chris, in this game where you might have thought the whole time like they have a chance of coming back? Was there ever a point, what was the moment where you're like, okay, they're going to win this game?
As soon as it was 24-14, you could see it going. I mean, you could see it coming from a mile away. I mean, Dawson Knox executes that route where he crashes in like he's going to block, and then pivots out along the goal line, and you could just see the Bills sideline. Everything had completely flipped momentum-wise. The crowd got awfully quiet, awfully fast. And that's when you could just see the whole thing turning. You could feel it in the building. A lot of nervous Patriots fans, and it just kind of went from there. And look, I know the 65-yard run by Henderson late might have broken the backs of a lot of teams, but I think you have to really credit the resolve of this football team. Like, I know a lot of teams out there can say it, and some of the Bills players said it yesterday. We don't blink. They really don't blink, guys. Like, okay, yeah, all right, we screwed up on that play. You know, we didn't set the edge. We didn't hold contain. All right, let's just go down and get a touchdown and put this thing to bed. And I mean, to be able to perform that way in those circumstances in a game of those stakes really says something. And I want to throw this in, guys, because as you know, our broadcast booth is very close to the lower bowl of the stands. Literally 10 feet below us are fans. And there's a walkway right beneath us behind the last row in the bowl. And they're filing out as soon as James Cook scores on that 11-yard run. You know, with 6:48 left, they're filing out. And I was just and so I noted that on the broadcast, and I said it very, very loud on purpose. I also, at the end, was very sure to say in a loud voice that there's no division title being handed out today. Yeah, let's just say I was laying it on thick.
Yeah.
And I had every intention of doing that on purpose because I'm not going to lie. I try to be as objective as I can. You know, we all try to maintain our credibility as journalists, but that just felt too good. I had to let it out. So.
Yeah. The thing I've been saying today, and I wonder if you'd agree with this, Chris, like the Patriots still very much could win the division. If they beat the Jets and the Dolphins, they will win it. But that said, it's different. It would have been different for them. It would have been much more crowning to have swept the Bills and do it with 3 games left. Now, if they got to go to Week 18 and win it there, like it's just. I know it's the same accomplishment on. You know, they can put a banner up there if they want to for division champs, but for the general conversation, and if there's another game, the Bills are going to be favored in New England again. Like it just feels like they had a moment and it got away from them, and they're not going to get it back maybe until they beat the Bills in a playoff game.
Right. And look, we all know that this Bills team is flawed, maybe as flawed as any team in the last handful of years. The Patriots have flaws too. And I think that was revealed on Sunday. They don't have anybody to rush the passer with any great authority. I mean, Harold Landry's a nice player, but he's not elite. You know, they have good cover corners on the outside, but their linebackers and safeties are nothing special in coverage. And you take one defensive tackle out of their run front, and they're giving up almost 1.5 yards more per run play since Milton Williams left the lineup and went on IR. Like, one guy completely changes the scope of your defense. Think of all the people the Bills have been without in their lineup this season. The Patriots are flawed. They're not perfect either, and there's a lot of flawed teams across the AFC. So this thing is as wide open as I can remember. So, you know, yes, the Bills have some issues. We all know what they are, but they got they got the best quarterback in the game, and perhaps the best quarterback on the AFC side of the ledger. If Lamar doesn't make it in, we already know Mahomes is out. So just enjoy the ride, people, because nothing's perfect. And I don't think this AFC playoff race is going to be anything perfect either.
That's right. Chris Brown joining us here after Bills Patriots. They split the season series. Next up for the Bills, the Browns. Chris, thanks very much, and we'll talk Friday.
All right, take care, guys.
Chris Brown. His appearance is brought to you by Northwest Bank. For what's next, get started at northwest.com. By Northtown Volkswagen, Western New York's #1 VW dealership. Shop online at northtownvw.com. And by Lockport Outdoor Store, high-impact gear for hardworking men and women.